Holding on to the past is like carrying a backpack full of stones. The further you walk, the more exhausting it becomes. It's remarkable how many people cling to old grudges, nurturing resentments that only drain their energy. Imagine someone tripping and falling, then choosing to stay on the ground because the ground was unfair. Does that make sense? Of course not. Similarly, you need to get up and move forward, releasing those grudges that hold you back. By letting go of the past, you're not just freeing yourself, you're making space for something new and good to enter your life. Think of an old closet stuffed with clothes you never wear. As long as it's full, there's no room for anything new. Your mind works the same way. Try this simple exercise. Write down what bothers you most about the past, read it, then tear it up or burn it as a symbol of release. It may seem small, but the impact is transformative. Recognizing what holds you back is the first step to letting go. Perhaps it's a criticism someone made years ago or an opportunity you missed. These things may feel enormous at the moment, but think, how often has something that seemed huge become insignificant over time? Letting go of the past is like allowing sunlight into a room that's been dark for years. One simple act of courage can bring more light than you ever imagined. It's not about forgetting, but rewriting. You can use the pain as a lesson instead of an anchor. If something hurt you, what did you learn? What lesson can you use to avoid repeating the same cycle? Life is an unyielding teacher, but it's up to you whether you learn or merely accumulate tests. Letting go of the past also means stopping those repetitive mental dialogues. Have you ever noticed how we sometimes mentally replay old arguments, imagining what we could have said? This mental repetition is like watching a bad movie on loop. Turn off the projector and write a new script. Trust me, the new is always more interesting than the repeated. The key lies in living in the present. Imagine yourself driving a car while staring into the rearview mirror. Disaster is inevitable, isn't it? The past is the rearview mirror. The present is the windshield. Where would you rather focus? Choose the windshield because that's where life happens, full of possibilities waiting for you. When we let go of these thoughts, what happens? It creates space for a lighter, freer mind. A mind cluttered with negative thoughts is like a disorganized house, hard to move around, uncomfortable, and completely dysfunctional. Many don't realize it, but they're constantly preoccupied with unnecessary worries, reliving past mistakes, or stressing about the future. What would happen if you decided to do a mental cleanup? This process, much like tidying your house, starts with a conscious decision to get rid of what no longer serves you. Negative thoughts drain your energy, like having too many tabs open on your computer. It crashes the system. To clear space, practice something simple. Whenever you notice an unhelpful thought, ask yourself, is this helping me or holding me back? If the answer is negative, discard it. Try practical steps like guided meditation or jotting down your thoughts before bed. This helps clear your mind and allows focus to return to the present. Clearing mental space also means letting go of judgments. We're often our harshest critics, carrying guilt and shame for things long past. It's like trying to walk while lugging a suitcase full of bricks. Drop the luggage. Ask yourself, would I treat a friend the way I treat myself? If the answer is no, change your approach. Treat your mind with kindness. It's the environment where you live your entire life. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways to clear mental space. Not just forgiving others, but yourself. Imagine every resentment as a crumpled page in your life's book. The more crumpled pages, the harder it is to read your story. Forgiving reorganizes your book, letting the story flow again. Try writing a forgiveness letter, even if you never send it. The clarity it brings is invaluable. Creating space in your mind requires building new habits. At first, it's challenging to change your thinking, but with consistency, it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Simple tools like keeping a journal or using mindfulness apps can help. Remember, an organized mind is a powerful one. The more mental space you clear, the more energy you have to create something new. Ever notice how invigorating it feels to finally tackle a task you've been putting off? That's the effect of clearing mental space. You'll feel a lightness you didn't know was possible. Start with small daily actions, one thought at a time, and watch the magic happen. Focusing on positivity is like planting a garden in your mind. What you nurture grows. Unfortunately, many people water the weeds, worries, fears, and resentments, rather than cultivating flowers of gratitude and optimism. It's not about ignoring problems, but choosing where to direct your energy. Adversity is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Think about a bad day. Do you remember the good things that happened or the small inconvenience that ruined it? This habit can be changed. Turning challenges into opportunities is the secret of truly successful people. When something goes wrong, it's easy to spiral into complaints. But what can you learn from it? For example, losing a job, though difficult, might be the opportunity to pursue something meaningful. Practice shifting your focus with a daily exercise. At the end of the day, write down 3 good things that happened, no matter how small. This trains your brain to look for the positive. Positivity isn't magical thinking, but a practical choice. It's reflected in how you interpret situations. A simple example, a delay could be a chance to breathe and reorganize your thoughts instead of just an inconvenience. No one is positive 100% of the time, but making it your default approach changes how you experience life. It's like swapping foggy glasses for clear ones. The world becomes brighter and more beautiful. The environment also plays a big role. Notice how negative people drain your energy? It's essential to surround yourself with positivity, whether through people, content, or habits. Replace complaint-filled conversations with inspiring ones. Follow uplifting social media profiles instead of those that spark toxic comparisons. A positive environment feeds your mind just as fertile soil nurtures good seeds. Focusing on the positive doesn't mean avoiding responsibilities or challenges. On the contrary, it means facing them with courage and optimism. Imagine an athlete during a tough competition. They focus on the goal, not the pain. You can apply this mindset to daily stressors like tight deadlines by turning them into games of efficiency and creativity. This perspective shift makes all the difference. Even small acts of kindness can promote positivity. Complimenting someone or offering unexpected help brings a contagious wave of joy. This isn't just a cliche, it's science. Studies show that such gestures release hormones that improve mood and mental health. Why not start with a small act today? When you focus on the positive, something amazing happens. The energy once wasted on complaints transforms into momentum to build the future. Speaking of the future, what happens when we stop letting the past dictate our steps? That's what we'll explore next. Committing to the future is like choosing a destination before starting a journey. Without it, you'll wander in circles, repeating mistakes, or worse, letting the past set the pace. Imagine a ship's captain sailing without a map. They may move, but they'll never reach anywhere meaningful. Committing to the future means charting a clear course, even if the sea is rough. Forgiveness and releasing grudges are vital parts of this process. Holding on to resentments is like tying weights to your feet and trying to run. And honestly, who wants to run like that? Think of every act of forgiveness as undoing a knot. The more knots you untie, the faster and freer you can move. A simple exercise. List 3 things or people from your past that still weigh on you. Then, decide to release them, mentally visualizing that they no longer have power over you. Committing to the future also means setting specific, tangible goals. It's not enough to say, "I want a better life." You need to define what that means. Is it a new job, habit, or mindset? Break these goals into smaller steps and start now. For example, if your goal is to learn something new, commit to reading 10 pages of a book daily. Small daily commitments have massive long-term impacts. Sometimes this commitment requires changing how you view time. Many people live trapped in, "If only I had done this," or "What if?" But the future isn't built on what ifs. It's shaped by the now. What can you do today to make tomorrow better? The key is acting with intention, even if the action seems small. One step is always better than none. Visualization is a powerful tool for commitment. Spend a few minutes each day closing your eyes and imagining the life you want. Don't just think it, feel it. Picture your routine, what you're doing, and how you're feeling. This practice not only boosts motivation, but also helps you stay focused when distractions arise. Committing to the future doesn't eliminate challenges, but makes them more bearable. A clear goal makes it easier to endure difficulties along the way. Think of an Olympic athlete enduring grueling training. They persist because they know what they want to achieve. If they can overcome that, you can conquer your daily hurdles. As you stay steadfast on your future path, there's ancient wisdom about not carrying unnecessary burdens. Stories and life lessons often show us how liberating it can be to leave the past behind. That's what we'll explore next. Stories hold the power to teach profound lessons in ways that direct words never could. Have you heard the tale of the 2 monks? One carried a woman across a river and continued silently on his way. Hours later, the other monk, bothered, asked, "Why did you do that? It's against the rules." The first monk calmly replied, "I left the woman on the riverbank. You're still carrying her." This simple story teaches that mental burdens often weigh more than physical ones. In daily life, how often do you replay uncomfortable or painful situations in your mind? That's like carrying the woman from the river, not physically, but emotionally. Imagine standing in a grocery store line, dwelling on a mistake from months ago. What does it change? Absolutely nothing, except stealing your peace. To apply this lesson, practice intentional detachment. When a negative thought arises, take a deep breath and tell yourself, "I've already left that in the past." Another powerful lesson these stories teach is the value of the present. In the rush to fix the past or predict the future, we overlook the now. The present is where everything happens, and stories help us see that more clearly. Why not try this simple practice? While having your breakfast tomorrow, focus on the flavors, textures, and aroma. It may seem trivial, but being present in small moments completely transforms your perception of life. Stories also teach the importance of not judging situations immediately. There's an old parable about a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors said, "What bad luck?" But the farmer replied, "Who knows?" Days later, the horse returned with wild horses. "What good fortune?" said the neighbors. Again, the farmer replied, "Who knows?" Life is like that. What seems like a loss today may be a gain tomorrow. This perspective changes how you face challenges. Reflecting on stories can bring insights that cold analysis cannot. Remember that every experience, good or bad, is part of your narrative. What story do you want to tell about yourself in the future? A practical example. Instead of focusing on mistakes, ask yourself what you learned from them. Writing this in a journal can be incredibly revealing. Stories also connect us to one another. When you share your journey, struggles, and triumphs, you inspire those around you. Think about how stories of overcoming obstacles impact you. Why not be that inspiration for someone else? The simple act of sharing a lesson you've learned can create a positive cycle of support and growth. Ultimately, every story offers an opportunity for perspective. By understanding that everyone has their own internal battles, we become more compassionate toward others and ourselves. Speaking of perspective, how can our view of the world change when we choose gratitude? Let's explore that next. How you see the world determines the quality of your life. It's all a matter of perspective. You can view challenges as insurmountable walls or as stairways to a new level of growth. The power of gratitude lies in flipping that mental switch. Imagine starting the day complaining about traffic, or instead being thankful you have a car to get around. Small shifts in focus turn ordinary days into meaningful moments. Choosing gratitude doesn't mean ignoring problems, but seeing beyond them. Think about situations that initially seemed disastrous, but taught you valuable lessons. Perhaps a rejection opened doors to something much better. A simple practice is keeping a gratitude journal. Before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for that day. It could be as simple as receiving a smile or finding a moment of calm. Challenges become lighter when seen as opportunities. When something doesn't go as planned, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? For example, losing out on a promotion might push you to develop new skills or pursue a path more aligned with your dreams. This perspective shift gives even the toughest moments a greater purpose. Gratitude also strengthens resilience. Grateful people bounce back more easily because they focus on what they still have, not what they've lost. Imagine someone facing a financial crisis who chooses to see it as a chance to reorganize their life and learn about money management. This attitude not only resolves problems, but fosters a sense of control and optimism. The way you talk to yourself influences your perspective. Words like "I can't" or "this is impossible" plant seeds of defeat. Replace them with affirmations like "I'm learning" or "I'll find a way." Your brain believes what you repeat, so mind your inner narrative. If life were a movie, you'd be the screenwriter. What kind of story do you want to tell? Cultivating a positive outlook doesn't mean disconnecting from reality, but choosing where to direct your energy. When you focus on what's good, you attract more of it into your life. Try this. Start your day with a list of things you're grateful for and notice how it changes your mood and interactions throughout the day. Small actions create waves of impact. Why stop here? What happens when you combine gratitude with acceptance? When you learn to embrace even what you can't control, a new level of inner peace emerges. That's the theme of the final section. Accepting what you can't control is like learning to surf in a storm. Instead of fighting the waves, you move with them. Resistance to what's out of your control is one of the greatest sources of human suffering. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. Acceptance, on the other hand, is like opening your hand and letting the sand settle naturally. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up, but understanding where your energy is best spent. Think of a long line at the bank. Complaining won't speed things up, But using the time to read a book or organize your schedule changes the experience entirely. A powerful practice for dealing with the uncontrollable is mindfulness. Sitting for 5 minutes and focusing on your breath can bring an immediate sense of calm during stressful situations. Nature teaches us a lot about acceptance. Observe a river encountering rocks in its path. It doesn't try to move them, but flows around them. You can apply this same fluidity to your life. When an obstacle arises, ask yourself, what can I do right now with what I have? If the answer is nothing, let it go. Focusing on what you can change rather than what's beyond your reach is one of the greatest forms of liberation. Re-evaluating what you consider problems is another tool. What seems disastrous might just be a limited perspective. For instance, missing a flight may initially seem inconvenient, but who knows? It could save you from something worse or offer a chance for unexpected rest. Asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" helps reframe events and reduce stress. Acceptance also transforms relationships. How often do we try to change or control others, only to end up frustrated? Accepting people as they are not only improves relationships, but also frees your mind to focus on what truly matters: you. Approach others with curiosity rather than judgment. This turns conflicts into opportunities for mutual learning. However, acceptance doesn't mean abandoning your dreams or giving up. It's about knowing where to strategically channel your energy. Imagine being in a chess game. You don't control your opponent's moves, but you adjust your strategy based on what happens. Acceptance and action go hand in hand. Accept what is and work with what you have to create what you want. When you learn to accept what's out of your control, something magical happens. Your energy, once scattered in futile struggles, focuses on building a more fulfilling life aligned with your values. Now, how can you apply everything we've discussed to transform your life? Now that you've learned to let go of the past, clear your mind, focus on the positive, commit to the future, absorb valuable lessons, change your perspective, and accept the uncontrollable, it's time to put it all into practice. Knowledge only makes a difference when it's applied. So, what's your next step? Maybe forgiving someone, writing down your goals, or simply expressing gratitude for something today. If you're seeking more inspiration, don't stop here. Keep watching our videos to dive deeper into topics that can transform your life. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share in the comments which of these strategies you'll apply first. And since you've made it this far, take advantage of the recommended video on your screen now. It perfectly complements everything we've discussed today.